Hi, welcome. So today I want to share with you how you might be keeping yourself in an emotional eating pattern. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and emotional eating expert. And today I really wanted to share with you why you might be in this emotional eating pattern from the lens of emotions. And so this is something I don't feel is focused on enough in the emotional eating world, at least not to the depth that I want to share it with you, and to really dive into what emotions are and to really empower you with that knowledge. So when I was on my own emotional eating journey, I started off really on the surface, like everyone probably does, with thinking something's wrong with my body. I felt, I couldn't control my hunger. I was constantly hungry. I would all of a sudden be eating bowls and bowls of food and not know what was going on. And it wasn't until I learned what was really going on under the surface that I realized, wow, there's this bigger pattern at play that I didn't really understand. So I want to share with you what that pattern is and why we get stuck in it and how we can move out of it. So I'll sort of start you off with what emotional eating is. So emotional eating is when we use food to cope with our uncomfortable emotions. So these are emotions that come up and we don't know how to be with them, process, or resolve them. So we use food to soothe ourselves. That's the easiest way I can explain emotional eating. Of course, everyone's level of emotional eating is going to be different. Sometimes you're aware you're emotionally eating, that you are emotional, and then you eat. And sometimes you're not. You just get sort of thrown into this trance and start eating. And that second way, I actually experienced both types of emotional eating, but the second one really caught me off guard because I felt I had no control. I felt like I was out of control of my body. And so what's really going on under the emotional eating are emotions. And I really try to connect the dots here. So when we have an experience, so I'll explain sort of how emotions are generated in our body. When we have an experience in our life or we are in a situation, what happens is that experience or situation makes us create a story or a belief about the experience. So the experience itself can be really neutral. Life is pretty neutral, but when we sort of experience it, we want to make meaning of it. So we create a belief or a story around it. And when we do that, what happens in our body when we create that belief or story, it starts generating emotions biochemically. So we start feeling the story. We start feeling the sensations of it. So we might feel tight or contracted, or, this experience is telling us the belief we have about it is that it's scary and we shouldn't feel it. Or we might have had disempowering beliefs passed on to us from our caregivers or society that we don't want to feel a certain way about a certain experience. Nevertheless, we create emotions in our body. And then when we feel those emotions range from feeling the worst to the best, from feeling the lows of maybe sadness, feeling anger, feeling despair, to the joys of happiness, joy, happiness, just feeling sort of bliss. And so we have this range of emotions, and there's nothing wrong with our emotions. We are allowed to have emotions. But what happens in society and our families is that we're told certain emotions aren't good to feel, or they're not right to feel, because sometimes they inconvenience another person, or they make them feel uncomfortable, or parents get triggered by them. Something happens and we get the message that whatever we're feeling we shouldn't be feeling it. So we shouldn't be feeling sad, or we shouldn't be feeling mad or angry or whatever it is. And so we don't allow ourselves to feel the emotion, and we probably weren't modeled how to do that. It's like 99% of the population. We weren't modeled how to really feel our emotions, to sit with them, process them, hear the message, the belief we created about it, to see if it's right or if it's true for us or not. And so we then hold in the emotion and we decide we need to take an action to keep us from feeling this emotion. And so that action for emotional eaters is to eat. And this can happen consciously. I'm sad, I want to eat X. or really unconsciously where we're just like, I need to eat now. I'm in that sort of, I need to eat now. It needs to happen now. I need this food. We have like no control. And so when we really get into that state, what we've done is we've told ourselves feeling the emotion, processing it is no longer safe. We can't do it. And after years and years of this pattern, we lose touch with how to even do that, because most likely we weren't taught how to feel our emotions. We don't know how to feel them, the sensations in our body. We kind of are numbed out. We might be in a lot of pain in our body. And so when we're in this emotional eating pattern over and over again, it starts to impact our physical health, because we are going towards a food that are not going to nourish us. We are probably punishing ourselves mentally, saying awful things about ourselves. And so this starts snowballing into an even bigger issue, when the deep root was really in processing through those emotions. And so this is what I see in clients, and even clients that have been to therapy and sort of the conventional model of therapy. They don't really process through this situation. They don't really get into the emotions and feel them on this body level. It's more about talking and being aware of the pattern, but not actually doing the experiential work we need to do in the body. And so that is where we need to go to. So I would invite you, if you're in this position, to really seek out someone, a practitioner that can help you move through the emotions and resolve them and transform them on a body level and a somatic level. And so this is what we do inside of the Emotional Eating Evolution program. And there are guided somatic meditations. There are private sessions with me. And also you have your own recordings and meditations you do on your own to really get into the body and process what has been happening, to start looking at those beliefs under the emotions to see if they are true for you or not. And this is not just feeling the emotions, but also transforming that experience for yourself. And so at this level, we're able to get to the root and resolve it, and no longer need to go towards food to cope, because we've actually given ourselves the needs that were unmet. Sometimes it's just being with the emotion and feeling it in our body. Sometimes it's we need to change something in our life. It could be something big or something small. It could be just something to make us feel like we're going in the right direction. So it's very personalized, and only you really hold that answer. But getting into the body is going to be really key and important. And along with emotional eating being sort of this pattern where we are avoiding our emotions, there are also what has come out of that. What I've noticed and what happened for me is that then I became really sort of a victim to the diet mentality, and I started and we all kind of are in society, because we take on the beliefs of diet culture that something's wrong with our body. We need to restrict the way we're eating, restrict calories, restrict macros, and do all of these things to control our bodies because something's wrong with us. And this further compounds the issue of emotional eating. And so we don't have any body acceptance. We don't know how to truly nourish our bodies. And I'm not going to mention it in this video, but those all play into emotional eating as well. And so we really need to get to those other corresponding roots to emotional eating as well. But for here, I want to really focus on the emotion and how it is impacting your emotional eating. So if this is resonating with you, please let me know. If you have any questions about what I've said or any comments, please leave them below. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope this video is of value to you and it helps you really see how emotional eating is coming from this deep root cause of unprocessed emotions. And of course, those can run the gamut from being something very simple and small to more trauma-based, what we would conventionally call more trauma-based experiences. But any unprocessed, unresolved emotion is a trauma in the body that we need to resolve in order to move forward in our lives in a really whole and authentic way. So thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. And I look forward to sharing more with you. And I hope you have a great day.